Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to ESPN's little Capital One Bowl Mania Challenge. Guys, I think this is similar to the March Madness thing where you go up against everyone and you see what percentile you get, and we can all kind of compare if everyone does this. First, you have to choose what you're going to be picking. I think, you can pick against the spread, you can pick who's going to win, or you can pick like something that has to do with putting more weight onto a game. I would just say do it against the spread. That's what I'm doing, and we do have, I think, most of the opt-outs that we know, so I'm doing this right now, and we're going to see what percentile I can score going up against everyone. You can see you can enter 3 times apparently. But we've got this first game right here, UAB and Miami of Ohio. I do think it is nice that they put the percentage of the people that picked Miami to cover versus UAB. I'm with the minority here. I am in on UAB to cover this game minus the 11.5. I think UAB really had an unlucky year at 6-6. They're way better than Miami, who also is 6-6. People look at this game, they see, UAB 6-6. How are they 11.5 point favorites? That's bad value. I actually think UAB is down to minus 10 on the regular line, but I still expect UAB to win this game like 41-14. I think they have a superstar running back as well. Next, we've got a very good matchup in the Cure Bowl, UTSA and Troy, a top 25 matchup. And guys, plus 2.5, sign me up. I love UTSA, Frank Harris, that offense. I will take UTSA to win that game outright. Seems to be pretty split 50-50 on that one. Next, we have Cincinnati taking on Louisville. And guys, I don't know what to say about this game. Malik Cunningham out. Ben Bryant, Cincinnati's starting quarterback, is out. Luke Fickell is gone. 77% of the people are on Cincinnati. I just think this is one where maybe I could steal it and go Well, I don't know if I should do that. Guys, I don't know. It's 2 backup quarterbacks starting, and normally I would 1,000% be in on Cincinnati because of Luke Fickell, because of what he's shown at Cincy. This is just a roll of the dice at this point. I know Cincinnati's backup quarterback has not been good. I'm not sure on Louisville. Malik Cunningham's been injured, I think, a few times this season. I don't know, guys. I would say take the under. I'm not going to sit here and spend an hour talking about that game. Next, we have the Celebration Bowl. Jackson State versus North Carolina Central, and I am going to take NC Central. Jackson State actually had a big issue covering spreads late in the season, and now with the whole situation surrounding Deion Sanders, I do think there's value plus the 16.5 on NC Central. Next, we have the Vegas Bowl. It is Florida taking on Oregon State. Obviously, this spread was not updated since the opt-outs. It's not even close. I don't know why people are going in on Florida plus 7.5 when they're really plus 11 with all of the opt-outs. That's an easy one. We're going to take Oregon State based on the value. Next, you have Washington State, Fresno State. Not even close. I think Fresno State wins this game. There were 2 major opt-outs for Washington State. Great value plus the 4.5. Guys, this actually might not be a good idea to do this spread because they haven't updated these, and we're getting crazy value. So I actually don't know if this is the right thing to do. Rice versus Southern Miss. Take Southern Miss. It's not even close. I think Southern Miss is minus 5.5, so it is pretty close. The general public is on Southern Miss. Rice is not a good team. They are a 5-7 bowl team. Next, we have SMU taking on BYU, and certainly we're going to go in on SMU here, minus 2.5, 31%. I think we could really make some ground up against the general public. In terms of, the percentile on where I rank, just 31% of the people picking SMU. BYU has a quarterback injury. Although this game's going to be a higher scoring game, I do think SMU, they're the more healthy team. I think they win it. Next, we have North Texas taking on Boise State. Obviously, we're going to take Boise State minus 4.5. This line is like minus 7 now, and 88% of the people are on Boise State. Marshall taking on UConn. So, wow. Marshall here is minus 12.5. In real life, I think they're down to minus 10. So this is a really polarizing game. I feel like I have to take UConn based on the value plus the 12.5, but I really think UConn is going to have a significant trouble scoring just on I'm going to take Marshall. I don't care. 51% in on Marshall as well. Eastern Michigan and San Jose State. So Eastern Michigan has been my upset pick, one of my upset picks for a while now. I think they win that game outright against the San Jose State team who is reeling. I'll take Eastern Michigan and their ability to generate big plays. They get one of the max upsets of the bowl season. The Boca Raton Bowl, you've got Liberty and Toledo. Obviously, Toledo now is sitting at like 4.5 point favorites. I just have to take that on value alone, minus the 1.5. Liberty dealing with the coaching issues when it comes to, Hugh Freeze abandoning them and things after signing an 8-year extension. You gotta love coaches. New Orleans Bowl. We have Western Kentucky taking on South Alabama, and guys, you've got to take South Alabama here. Western Kentucky starting quarterback entered the transfer portal. They're +8 at this point in terms of line movement. I don't know who is picking Western Kentucky. I think they're just, they don't understand. Maybe they're ignorant on the starting quarterback situation there. Next, we have Baylor taking on Air Force. So this is an interesting one. 5.5 point spread, but I still am going to take Air Force. I think Air Force keeps this game really close, even though the spread in real life is Baylor minus 6.5. Better odds in real life. I still think Air Force keeps this game close. I maintain that opinion. Louisiana taking on Houston. You've got to go on Houston minus 2.5. Everyone's basically on Houston, 87% of the people. Wake Forest and Missouri. We love Missouri to win this game outright, plus the 1.5. In real life, they're +1, so it does make sense, and we can make up some significant ground on the general public. Just 34% of the people in on Missouri plus the 1.5. Next, we have Middle Tennessee. It is just Middle Tennessee. Guys, wasn't it Middle Tennessee State? And now they've changed to Middle Tennessee? I want them to switch it back. Taking on San Diego State. Obviously, this is the Christmas Eve game. And we're going to get some stocking stuffers here. If you can get San Diego State minus 1.5 anywhere, let me know. They're like -7 at this point, so obviously we're going to pick them. New Mexico State taking on Bowling Green. So this is just a pure toss-up. New Mexico State's starting quarterback is in the transfer portal, and because of that, I'm going to take the value of Bowling Green. Although I don't know. Only 34% of the people picking New Mexico State. Is there value in taking them? No, I think I'll keep it on Bowling Green. I'll keep it on Bowling Green. Next, we have Georgia Southern taking on Buffalo. And wow, guys, I love Georgia Southern minus the 4.5. It's a revenge game for their quarterback. Buffalo has been terrible late in the season. They almost lost to Akron. So Georgia Southern certainly minus the 4.5. I maintain that opinion. First Responders Bowl, we have Memphis taking on Utah State, and certainly we're going to go in. Man, it's minus 10.5. That's a big spread, but honestly, I'll still take Memphis. Utah State is horrific. I think that ends in a blowout, even though Memphis has been inconsistent. Next, we have Coastal Carolina taking on East Carolina. Yeah, plus the 7.5. You have to take the value of Coastal Carolina, although I actually think the real-life spread is like +9 now, which is interesting. I think Grayson McCall is going to be healthy for this game. I'll still take Coastal. I think they can keep it close. Wisconsin, Oklahoma State. I love Wisconsin, guys. Both of these quarterback situations are not good, but you have to trust the program momentum within Wisconsin right now. You have the superstar running back Braylon Allen announcing he's not entering the transfer portal. You've got the superstar new head coach Luke Fickell. There's a lot in that program that's really revved up. They're going to get it done. They're going to use their defense. They're going to cover the 2.5 point spread. UCF taking on Duke, so not good value here. I might have to pick Duke just based on value alone. I think UCF wins this game, but the spread has been bet to Duke -1. So Duke is 1 point favorites, and I think just based on value, guys, I really think UCF wins, but it feels like the value, if I can get Duke plus 3.5, I have to respect that. But no, screw it. I'm taking UCF. I love UCF. The Liberty Bowl, we've got Kansas taking on Arkansas. So I think Arkansas is 3-point favorites in this one now. You know, this is a game that's going to be really high scoring. I think Arkansas wins it. Kansas, I'm guessing, is going to be fine at quarterback. Their starting quarterback came back. I'm guessing he's going to be healthy with having a month off. But I'm going to take Arkansas. I think they're the more talented team. North Carolina, Oregon, this spread has been bet to -13. Obviously, I'm going to take the value -9.5. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. I should have picked like a different thing to do because these spreads are just off. Texas Tech taking on Ole Miss. I maintain, even though Ole Miss finished the season really bad against the spread, I think they cover against the Texas. Although, man, Texas Tech, only 19% of the people have picked Texas Tech. That's great value if they win. It is, you know, if they cover the 3.5. And Texas Tech has been covering spreads, but I'm taking Ole Miss. I'll be with the general public on that. Syracuse taking on Minnesota. Love Minnesota. Syracuse cannot score. They're a shell of themselves. We'll take Minnesota minus the 6.5. Oklahoma, FSU. I'll take Oklahoma based on the value. Well, I love FSU, guys. I do. These are tough. Oklahoma finished 6-6. The models, they're +7. Okay, we'll take Oklahoma. I like that they're +7.5. I do love FSU. I do. Texas taking on Washington. Texas -3.5. Ooh, this is tough. So when you look at the real life line, it's Washington +6, and I love Washington +6 with Bijan Robinson not playing. It gets a little bit tougher. I got to take the value on Texas here minus the 3.5. Maryland, NC State. I love NC State to win this game outright. I'll take the +2.5. Pittsburgh versus UCLA. Obviously, UCLA -3.5 is an auto bet. Pittsburgh's starting quarterback is in the portal, and UCLA is -7, I think, at this point. Notre Dame versus South Carolina. Notre Dame had so many opt-outs, we have to take South Carolina plus the 4.5. Ohio versus Wyoming, certainly. I don't know what the general public is doing. Wyoming plus the 3.5 is great value. It's a low-scoring game. Ohio's starting quarterback is out for the season. Their backup scored 7 points in the MAC championship. Tennessee versus Clemson. We've got to go in on Clemson. Value -4.5 against a backup quarterback in Joe Milton. Higher scoring. Well, it's going to be a higher scoring game, but I have to take the value there. I have to. Alabama versus Kansas State. So, guys, I do think Alabama wins this game. It's just, I feel like everyone's going to say with the opt-outs, with Nick Saban's struggles in the Sugar Bowl, they're going to lose this game. But I do feel like Bama wins it. I have a strong feeling. Kansas State, they're just not talented enough. I know they have Deuce Vaughn. They're a fun team. They won the Big 12 Conference Championship. I'm just not buying them at this point. Iowa versus Kentucky. Obviously, we're picking Iowa. Great value. They're 2-point favorites now. TCU versus Michigan. I'll go in on Michigan. Well, 9.5 is a lot. That's tough, man. It's a 50-50 thing. I think Michigan controls this game. I really do. You know what? We'll change it to TCU. We'll go TCU there. And then Ohio State, Georgia. Certainly, you're going to want to take Ohio State. Great value, plus the 6.5 on that one. Mississippi State versus Illinois. Illinois, phenomenal. Plus 1.5. Yes, Illinois is way more complete than Mississippi State. Tulane versus USC. I'm going to try and steal some from the general public here. I'm going to take Tulane plus the 1.5, facing an injured Caleb Williams and an unmotivated bad USC defense. LSU versus Purdue, obviously LSU -5.5. This line is ballooned to LSU -10. You've got the Rose Bowl. We're going to go in on Utah. Basically a pick'em game, which now Utah is favored by I think 3 points or so due to the opt-out situation with Joey Porter Jr. impacting that. And then we have TCU, Michigan versus Ohio State, Georgia. I'm going to pick Ohio State and Georgia in that matchup in the conference championship game, whoever it ends up being. And then there's also a tiebreaker. How many points will be scored in the national championship? We will go with 72 on that one. So guys, I am going to submit this and we'll see how I end up doing. You know, it is unfortunate. I guess it's the sign of the times that a lot of these point spreads have just gone crazy because all these kids are opting out. It is depressing, but this is something that is fun to do and see where you score. But obviously, we're taking significant advantage in some of these point spreads that simply, you know, are kind of a joke at this point, you know, with the opt-outs and stuff like that. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.